All right, guys, there we are. We are live. I'm going solo tonight. TigerBait live. Got a lot to talk about. Obviously, the week started off with a Super Bowl that was a very good game. A lot of us were pulling for the Bengals. We can talk about that. The offseason, good news on Joe Burrow. It's just a MCL sprain on the right knee. And now we wait to see what the Cincinnati Bengals do as far as offensive linemen to protect him. He cannot have another season or two with the number of hits and sacks that he's taken the last season and a half. And so we can talk about that. Super Bowl halftime. I haven't touched base with any of you guys tonight, but that still has people buzzing. And of course, LSU gets a big 19-point win over Georgia tonight in basketball. Andy Katz on NCAA.com put out his seedings yesterday in early brackets. Has LSU currently as a 6 seed. Certainly, that's a lot lower than they could have been before they went on a skid. But now they're starting to get guys healthy. Can they rattle off a bunch of more wins and improve on that seed? How high do you think they can go? Leave us some comments. And of course, we're now still. We said it last week. We said it the week before. When's Brian Kelly going to meet with the media? We thought it would have been last week. It wasn't last week. We're now midweek, and we have no word on a press conference either tomorrow or Friday. So it looks like we're going to go another week without hearing from Brian Kelly. And so, and we got a lot of questions. I keep saying he needs to feed the beast. Of course, no fans like to hear media whine. But I'm hoping that we get to talk to him because we want to know what they're going to do with those remaining 4 spots that he has for the 22 class and transfer portal, as well as his plans for spring practice. It looks like the March 5th is going to be a huge junior day at LSU. I've had conversations and reached out to a bunch of top prospects in and out of state that are coming on March 5th for LSU's junior day. That's going to be a really big event. So Walker Howard, of course, is still rehabilitating his thumb. I know he was at a signing event up in Bossier City this past weekend. Had his arm in a cast, but he was still signing with the hand that had surgery. But it looks like the spring game, just from what I've been picking up, is going to be the very last Saturday in the month of April. So we can talk about all that. Kim Mulkey and her team back in action tomorrow night, and so a lot of positives going on in sports. Blake Money is going to be the Friday night starter for Jay Johnson and the LSU baseball team as they throw out the first pitch on the 22 baseball season. And kind of got that word last week. I dropped that nugget on our message board because one of my guys who we've done a show with here, Benny Latino, said that he thought it was going to be money that he's been performing extremely well. So I'm excited to see how he performs against Maine Friday night. Mikhail Hilliard will be Saturday at 1:30, and then it's to be determined who the Sunday pitcher will be for LSU, the third game against Maine. All those games going to be streamed on ESPN Plus. So all that and more we can talk about tonight. Do me a favor, if you like the show, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. Please share our show on your Facebook feed and on social media. And if you're following us on Facebook, we go live on both platforms. We think YouTube's better. But hit the like button there and make sure all your follow settings are set up to get alerted when we go live there as well. And so, of course, we're brought to you each and every week by Pride Roofing, Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez. And we want to give all our best to Mike Faraday, Tom Faraday, and the entire Faraday family as their mom Gladys did pass away on Sunday. And we'll be at the wake and ceremony funeral tomorrow. So all our best to Mike Faraday of Pride Roofing. And we'll talk about him and Pride and what they do a little bit later in the show. But let's get to some of your questions. We can talk some we can talk some LSU baseball talk. I'm still I'm missing Kendall Rogers. I'm supposed to get with him any day now. So Rick Kelly, Pride Roofing is awesome. Mike, a buddy asked me to call for roof repairs. 3 local companies couldn't help. I gave him Pride's number. They came out, inspected, and fixed the leak within 2 days. That's great news. I appreciate that, Rick. We get more and more comments like that from people who have actually used Pride. And I had one longtime TigerBait user that maybe had a little issue and got it rectified in a hurry, and now they're happy as can be with the service they're getting from Pride. Where's Buddy? He's taking the week off. Let's go, Brandon. Sean Carpenter, let's go baseball. I am so ready. There's just, with what's going on at LSU right now with all the new coaches, Jay Johnson has been logging the hours, doing tons of interviews, lengthy interviews. He is not. He's picked up right where Paul Maneri left off, which is really shocking to me. I'd kind of thought that he might not be as good or do minimal media. No, he loves it. He doesn't say no to any interviews, and that's one thing you could say about Paul Maneri, whether you had thought it was time or not. He was always there for the media, and so is Jay Johnson. So I really can't wait to see what his comments are in the post-game Friday night when he's welcomed to Alex Box in a full house. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. We're in the 70s right now. I'm assuming it's going to get cold again. But hopefully the weather is nice all weekend, and he has his first weekend of games at Alex Box, and it's an eventful one for his first few games. Yeah, Renee Cray, has Jay Johnson announced the start Friday night? He has. Blake Money. And so I've been hearing some great things about Blake. Benny Latino, Los Angeles Dodger scout, flat out told me last week, look for Blake Money to be the Friday night guy. And sure enough, he is. He's blown away by him. And so let's see if what he's been seeing in practices and scrimmages and so forth is going to carry over to the season. So Dylan Smith, have you heard the defense that House is wanting to use? No, I haven't. I'm assuming it's going to be a 3-4. But, that's one of the things that we want to talk about with Brian Kelly. I think if he gives the media a good 20 or 30 minutes, we'll be absolutely happy. We'll be able to get all those kind of questions answered in more detail. And then that'll tide us over until he meets with us usually the day before the start of spring football. Yeah, stop the whining. He's busy. I get it. Dylan Smith, have you heard anything about the tight end portal guy? Have you heard a lot of talk about the kid from TCU that just hit the portal? Now that the semester's already started, I'm not jumping on every guy that enters the portal each day of the week. Are these guys going to visit? I think it behooves LSU to actually go through spring football and evaluate what they've got, what they need. There's liable to be something that they think they're okay with now position-wise, and they'll go through spring football and realize, no, we're not as good at that position as we thought we were. We actually need one of those with one of the 4 spots. And so it's not like you need any of these guys you've got to jump on them right now that are in the portal because they've got to finish out the semester at the school they're at right now. So I tend to wait and see because there's going to be more kids, college players that enter the portal after they go through spring football at the schools they're currently at. Sean Carpenter, we have the best baseball lineup in America, hands down. A lot of excitement. Depending on what poll you believe, most have LSU securely in the top 10 or barely just side out of it. Let's go, Brandon. I am smashing the like button. And he also adds, Buddy gets too much time off. Vanderbilt's up to 11-0 on Auburn. Mike, from our buddy Kenny Russell. Mike, do you think Kelly and staff can reel in the Vandy offensive tackle Tyler Steen from the transfer portal? I think they're, obviously looking at him and others. But like I said, and then on some of these guys like him, not necessarily do they need to visit. A lot of these guys have already been through it. They know it's here. There's might be some guys that go ahead and say, Coach, I'm coming. I'm I'm committed, I'm signed or whatever. I don't need to visit. But I think you're going to start hearing in the coming weeks of some college kids, either on weekends or what have you, visiting LSU to take a look. Justin LaGrange, bold prediction: LSU will be a top 10 seed in the NCAA tournament and win at least one game or more in Omaha. Coach Jay will be Coach of the Year. Kim Mulkey, Naismith, one of the top 15 on the watch list for Coach of the Year for what she's done. So it'd be something if Jay Johnson and Kim Mulkey are both in the hunt there, and then Brian Kelly later in the year. Sean Carpenter, do you see any LSU guys hitting the portal? Yeah, I do. Which ones, I don't know, but there's just the math on it, and the odds are high that there's going to be some. That's just going to be a continual thing. I think, though, at this point, most of them are going to wait and see how they fare in spring and how position battles, that stuff tends to weed guys out. And guys might think they can get better playing time somewhere else. We'll see. Brian Madeir, hey, Mike, if the Gran Torino doesn't right the ship, she may be the next Tiger coach to walk Woody's plank. Man, Brian, I asked somebody else in the media yesterday. Obviously I don't cover softball. I pay attention to it. But is there a growing undercurrent for people starting to put an eye on Beth Torino? I don't know how big that is or if that's real. You guys tell me. I didn't know that anybody really thought that maybe her seat was getting warm or not. Look, she's won a lot of games. Obviously, she's been to the College World Series. I know there's people saying she's never won the SEC. But I don't know. Yeah, she's been at LSU for quite a while. But it is the toughest league in America. She's got Alabama, Florida, and everybody else. So, but does she get into that same deal with, with Paul Maneri being judged the same way? Michael Duyon, does Eric Gaines play defense or? Yeah, Kenny Haynes, Mike Trina on the hot seat. Hell no. Man, I'm telling you, there's some people out there. I've heard it several places. Gregory Price, hello from H-Town, Texas Tiger in the house. Glad to have you with us. Barry Barbier, the only reason Cooper Manning said that LSU is back in the mix is for public relations. I don't think so. I think Arch himself likes LSU. Obviously, he's got multiple teammates that are going to be at LSU. You got Brett Bordelon, the youngest son of Ben, who will be a sophomore next year. He might be the best one of all of them. And, he's got an LSU offer right now. So you got the tight end there. A lot of these guys are going to be going to visit LSU. I'll be curious to see if Arch Manning is one of the guys that sneaks in for that March 5th Junior Day. That'll be very interesting. But here's the thing, and I said this on Sanji's radio show earlier today and again on Pelican Sports Television earlier this evening. One thing you do that you do more than you've ever done before is you recruit everybody. You have junior days like you're going to have on March 5th. You recruit all those guys. Even if you know either they're a legacy and they're likely going somewhere else or their dad played somewhere else, you recruit them, especially quarterbacks. Look at the schools that Arch Manning's considering. What do quarterbacks do in high numbers and highest percentages? They transfer out. They lose battles. The schools he's looking at recruit top quarterbacks every year. And so you bring them all in. You recruit them all equally. You establish those relationships with mom, dad, the high school coach, the hangers-on, the uncles, whoever it is. And it's just wise to do that. You never know when it's going to come back around, and 2 or 3 years up the road, it didn't work out at the school they signed with, and they forged a good relationship with Joe Sloan or Mike Denbrock or Brian Kelly. or Frank Wilson or whoever it may be in their area, and they say, "Hey, coach, you got a spot for me? Can I come in and compete?" And you open the door. And so you absolutely continue to recruit and forge relationships with guys, even if you don't think you're going to get them or you know you're not going to get them, just in case something happens with this transfer portal thing that is getting bigger and bigger each and every year. That's just my opinion, and I believe that's the way you have to approach it. Yeah, Trey, as I said earlier in the show, did Johnson announce starting lineup? Not the starting lineup, but he did say that Blake Money is going to be the starting pitcher on Friday night. Mikhail Hilliard Saturday at 1:30. Both those, all three games against Maine opening weekend. Was it 1:30 on Saturday, 1 o'clock on Sunday? All three games streamed on SEC Network Plus. So, guys, I want to talk to you about our dear friends over at Pride Roofing. Of course, we couldn't do this show each and every week without the help of Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez, and them being an integral part of bringing TigerBait live to you each and every week. So let's hear from them.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Alex.
Were you affected by Hurricane Ida?
Insurance claim, no problem.
Are you concerned about the shortage of building materials?
We have what you need.
We're licensed residential and commercial contractors.
In Louisiana and Mississippi.
We install shingles, metal, and commercial roofing. From Baton Rouge to Slidell or Houma up to the North Shore.
We got you covered. Call Pride, 855-PRIDE-16.
Pride Roofing, the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
And there we are. Give Pride Roofing a call. As always, that special is going to continue to run. Give them a call, 866-PRIDE-ROOFING. Tell them you heard about it on TigerBait.com. So when you call them for your free roof inspection, whether it's commercial or residential, steel roof, aluminum roof, whatever type of roofing you need, they do it all. Say you heard about them on TigerBait, and with their free roof inspection and giving you the quotes and everything that you need to figure out if y'all are going to do business or not, say you heard about them on TigerBait, and they're going to pay for you to have free TigerBait.com for a year. They're going to pay for you to have a free annual subscription. Got a lot of people jumped on that. Now, look, of course, I've had we ran into something for the first time. One of our subscribers, who's already a subscriber, ran for that deal, but they were, so we have to figure something out on that deal. But it's that promo is for non-subscribers, but I'm gonna have to come up with something for subscribers, whether it's a free T-shirt or something. But I'll figure that out as soon as I can. Let's see, guys. Let me get some more of your comments. Do me a favor, like I said, please like, share, and hit the like button on Facebook and hit the subscription button on YouTube and the notification bell. Michael Duyon, does Manning smell blood with Howard having an injury history? I don't think that's the case. I think he's just going to take a look around. I think, one thing that I've always said, my thought of the Mannings and how they looked at schools was strictly who's the coach, who's the offensive coordinator, what kind of system do they run. They're football people. I think they're football people and SEC people. So, you had two at Ole Miss, one at Tennessee, and is it possible that you're going to see another one? We had three at Ole Miss. Three at Ole Miss. I'm forgetting Cooper. Three at Ole Miss, one at Tennessee, and what have we been hearing on Arch all this time? Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Clemson. Clemson's eliminated. Brian Kelly went and visited Newman High School. Now they said that they'll come take a look. When do they come take a look? Is it that March 5th weekend? Let's see. Or is it sometime later in the spring or summer? You just never know how that's going to play out. Do you think we have a shot at the Sting kid? I think there's some discussion there, but I don't know where he's leaning right now. Chuck Girard, no, Manning is going to play at LSU. Might be right. Barry Barbier, Pride put a new roof on my house since I was already a subscriber. They just simply knocked $100 off my bill. All right, Barry, there you go. Appreciate it. Kenny Russell, I really do think recruits are realizing LSU legitimately has a head coach now, and we will become more of a player for elite recruits than Ed O ever did. Look, Kenny, man, I go back to 2019, and I never saw LSU so hot in my life. There was no sexier school in college football than I had ever seen. Just the fun that team had, the publicity, the way they won football games, the recruits. I mean, I'm telling you, we would do, recruiting weekend wrap-ups where I would reach out to every recruit that visited. What did you think? How was your experience? And they would each send something in. And I mean, those kids could not wait to comment on their LSU experience that season. And then all of a sudden, we know what happened the coming year, COVID, and so forth. But at that time, the elite recruits from coast to coast were all over LSU, and then they weren't. And so, but I do think that what you want in Brian Kelly, and that's why Scott Woodward brought him in, is that it's the stability factor. Even though he's only been on campus a few months, he can immediately sell stability because of his track record everywhere he's been. There's no nonsense. He's going to make them go to class. He's going to do everything the right way. And when he meets one-on-one with a recruit and his family, parents, uncles, aunts, he is very impressive. And that comes from every recruit's parent that I've talked to. There were recruits in December that were saying, if we don't know who the position coach is going to be, we're not going to sign. Or we haven't heard from him yet. And what's taking so long? And of course, there were some of them had a right to gripe, but when they did meet with him, it was over. And the comments were unbelievable how awesome he was, how impressive he was. Offensive players that were, I don't know who the coordinator is going to be. I might not sign on signing day. Once they met with Brian Kelly and they still didn't know who the offensive coordinator was going to be, it didn't matter. He was that impressive to them. So I think that you're right on that, Kenny. I think going forward that's going to be an easy sell. Mark Cumby. Howard has an injury history. He had, of course, broke his fibula late September against Ruston. Re-injured that in the playoffs, re-broke it. Had a thumb injury since about this time last year, and it plagued him all year long. And because of the thumb issue, and I remember when he was going to the Elite 11 to compete last, and they were trying everything to rehab it. Heat, going to therapists. But because of the thumb, it started messing with his throwing motion, and he started having some shoulder issues. But now they figured that out, no more shoulder issues. But I think once this thumb thing's over with and he can get back in the weight room and put on some muscle and get to 205, 210, he's going to be well on his way. He's a tough kid. He had a lot of other things that he had the year before when we won the state championship that he fought through, and he's tough as nails. But some of it, just the thumb, they just kept hoping for it to get better, so they went in and tightened it up. I don't think that they did the full deal that the same doctor that did Drew Brees' surgery in Los Angeles did Walker Howard's. But I don't think that they went into the thumb and did the cloth procedure that Drew Brees had. But I think he's going to be fine. Jamie told me that he thinks that he'll be back for the second half, or the hope is that he would be back for the second half of spring football. So when he says the second half, that was my clue in on that they were actually going to start late and not early, likely a very beginning of April, and that they would break for Easter, spring break, and then come back for that last week and then have the spring game on, I think it is April 30th, that Saturday. And, of course, those are all usually televised on SEC Network. What are y'all talking about? The one thing Coach O did well is recruit. He did, and then he didn't. I mean, there were some guys there down the stretch that they were struggling with. and it was getting to be a tougher sell. No, I'm not concerned with it. Look, you guys know I'm a bit biased on Walker Howard, but I don't think I'm not concerned about it. What I am concerned about is once he gets healthy, him getting back in the weight room, because I know Walker's one of those guys that when he's 19 years old, if he's not lifting weights, he's probably losing weight. So you can't lift weights with a thumb like that. American Patriot, thank you very much for the super chat. When can we expect a Kelly press conference? I don't know. I hope it's soon, just because we like to talk to him. You guys are all clamoring for answers to some questions. I think there's a lot. I think that if the media is prepared, every question at a Brian Kelly press conference should reveal and answer a lot of questions that the fans have. Stuff that you see being debated on message boards, asked about on this show, talk radio, everywhere else. Hopefully we get one soon. I talked to Sports Information 2 weeks ago. They thought it would have been, they were suggesting it was going to be last week, and it didn't happen, and now we're at the midway point of this week, and nothing's scheduled. So hopefully we get it soon. Kenny Russell, Mike, I'm excited to see what Kelly runs offensively. Just to see LSU have a competent offense will be exciting. Yeah, I know, though, he's going to want that offensive line to be pretty salty. He wants to run the ball. There was some very embarrassing 3rd and short and 4th and short situations all through last year, the last 2 years, where, you thought if it was 3rd and 1, it was probably or 3rd and 2, it was definitely a passing situation for LSU, and that will be unacceptable to him. Good question, Richard. I need a dig on that. Sage Ryan status update. Just about his health. No news on transfer tight ends. Johnny Johnson, not yet. Justin Saunier, running back John Emery. Is he a go this coming season? Everything I get is he's in great shape, doing very well. I'm hearing, see, that's something else I want to ask Brian Kelly. I've been getting little bits and pieces. I'm hearing the new strength coach and the team is absolutely responding to what he's teaching, the things he's got them doing. And, that's something I would love Brian Kelly to talk about. What are they seeing even this quickly? Guys just 6 weeks into a program, what kind of progress are they having? A lot of times just having a new guy and a whole new staff can reinvigorate everything that you're doing in there. I believe there's a lot of LSU football players making a lot of gains and thriving right now. What's the next commitment from the portal? Not sure on that one. I like I said earlier, I tend to think that don't jump on anybody right now. There's some guys that have surfaced, and I'm like, well, the production at the school they were at wasn't very good. Why would you want them at LSU? You got 4 spots. Use them wisely. And like I keep saying, definitely want a center. And so wait for spring football to play out. Unless there's somebody that you absolutely know is big time and they want to get it over with and announce something publicly, and they were an all, second team Big 12 tight end or whatever, other than that, don't reach on anybody. Use those spots wisely. Especially, you don't know, all of a sudden you get 2 catastrophic injuries at one position in spring football, and that changes everything. Knock on wood. Let me get some more of your comments real quick, guys. I want to talk about my dear friend Tony Freeman with Assurance Financial. Of course, she's another big sponsor of ours each and every week. So if you're thinking of buying a home, refinancing your current mortgage, and believe me, I talked to Tony 2 weeks ago. with the way the economy is going and inflation. If you've been thinking about it, refinancing your home, thinking of buying a home, now's the time to make the move. At least give her a call and find out before the Fed raises rates, because you don't know what they're going to be like 6 months or a year from now. So give her a call. Tony Freeman with Assurance Financial. She's a dear friend of mine, someone many of my friends have used for their mortgage needs repeatedly. Her knowledge and over 25 years of experience in the mortgage industry is unsurpassed. She offers a wide knowledge of home loan products, whether you're a first-time home buyer, ready to buy a new home, or you just want to explore your refinance options. Tony can guide you through your next mortgage experience. You can feel confident you're making the best financial decision with Tony as your guide. Not only is Tony a huge LSU fan, but Assurance Financial is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Call Tony today, 225-239-7150. Again, that's 225-239-7150. And tell her you heard about her from TigerBait.com. NMLS number 104765. Equal housing opportunity 70876. And Tony is absolutely the best. Tell her you heard about her from TigerBait.com. All right, guys, let's fly through. I know I got a bunch of your comments, and I want to get to them. Of course, LSU with a big 19-point win tonight. Will Wade's going to – let's see how he's going to stack up some more wins and get better than a 6 seed. Kenny Russell, again, we start to get the offensive line talent to match the skill talent, and LSU will consistently be a national championship contender, mark my words. Yeah, I've been saying it for several months. I really believe the offensive line can come together and be a very, very good position a lot sooner than people think. I like what they got in the transfer portal. I like the young freshmen. I like what's returning. And if we see that they add a nice center between now and August, so that way, of course, look, I want to see what the guys that are going to be working the center do. Maybe somebody's going to surprise me there and be very, very good. But I think Fitzgerald West needs a redshirt year, and I don't like the idea of I want Emory Jones to be a guard, and I don't want to have to worry about him cross-training at center. Maybe you have to do it even if you get a very good transfer center into the program. But I think Emory Jones is a future first-team All-SEC guard, and I would like to see him start there, and I think he can get there and be a significant player very, very quickly once he gets to LSU. So I think with the influx of talent, the transfer portal, and what's coming back, and now Coach Davis, having a full offseason with this group, and with Denbrock and everything that they want to do, I think that offensive line is going to be a lot better than people think. And I think it'll, like most offensive lines that are finding their way and looking for the right formula, I think they'll get better each and every week next football season. Chad Michael, other than not playing their assignments on the field, the strength and conditioning has been poor for years and cost LSU just as many games. One of the things that I always took up for Tommy Moffitt was, people would say, well, look at Alabama. They just look different. Well, because they look different coming out of high school. A lot of guys are what they are. If the majority of a signing class in a particular school is 5-star guys that look the part better than anybody else at an Under Armour camp or in a U.S. Army All-American game or whatever, they're going to look the part in college too. They're going to be – I remember, one of the camps I went to years ago, there was an LSU defensive lineman there, and it was Rashard Lawrence. Well, he was the smallest defensive lineman there. Well, he's not going to look as good as the guys, just physically stand there in shirts and T-shirts, in shorts and T-shirts as everybody else. He was the smallest defensive lineman there. But he was a top 100 national guy. But a strength and conditioning coach is certainly going to look a lot better if the staff and the recruiters are bringing him the elite of the elite and these specimens that have all the measurables right out of high school versus, trying to make Lewis Neal, look like Sam Darnold. It's just not going to happen. and I'm not picking on Lewis Neal, but Lewis Neal was one of those tweener guys during that stretch where a lot of people during that time period were really getting after Moffitt. Yeah, Delegar at center, Martinez at center. Martinez is the guy that I want to see what happens there. Carl Dunn, nice win tonight versus Georgia. Now let's get ready for baseball Friday night. What's the weather supposed to be like? I haven't even checked the forecast. Hopefully the weather's really nice. Early season games at the box at night usually require a sweater and mittens. Troy Davis. Orgeron failed big time with HN. Trevor, right? A lot of people didn't like Trevor, or they backed off of him. They had questions, and of course, a lot of them did that with his brother, and it cost him. So we're going to see. But Trevor's different than his brother. He's about 210, 215. He's a bigger back, but I'm going to be anxious to see what kind of college career he has. It was obvious of the two Southwest guys, LSU liked Citizen more. Mike, who would you say is the biggest must for the 23 class to be successful? That one's a tough one. I disagree with the national networks that have Arch Manning as the number one player in the state of Louisiana for next year. I would not have him there. I really like Williams at Westgate. I think Shelton Sampson is probably my number one in the state. But what I think the difference between 23 and 22 is 22 was very top heavy. Whereas I think you can look at the top 8 in Louisiana for 23 and argue that any one of those guys should be in the discussion for the best player in Louisiana. And so I think that's the difference. Whereas last year, probably 4 or 5 guys you're talking about, maybe 6 guys could be 5 stars. Jacoby, Aaron Adams, Walker Howard, Will Campbell, Emery. So all top flight guys. And I probably had, of those guys, I probably had Jacoby last, to be honest with you. I like Emory Jones higher than him. I like Aaron Anderson higher than him. So we'll see if Jacoby proves me wrong. But I still had Jacoby as a very, very high 4-star. Yeah, Ray, Sampson number one in the state. That's kind of been my thought. And I think your best quarterback is probably Eli Holstein. And then there's some real people. Look, man, you talk to some college coaches, and there's a lot of them that really like Ricky Collins. And I want to see what Ricky does in the offseason and what he does next season. And might he move up a little bit? I know one of the knocks on Ricky is throwing motion. Maybe not as quick of a release. He winds up a bit. But I think some of that stuff with him, talking to quarterback gurus, they believe that that can actually get fixed for him. There you go, Chuck. Appreciate it. Friday 56, Saturday 63, Sunday 69. So Friday night, bring yourself a sweater or a sweatshirt, and you'll be fine. Who's the first to hit the portal from the running back room? I don't know. Is there a chance that there's none? I don't know. Armani Goodwin? Maybe they all stay. Let's see how it plays out. Ray Greer, we need Sampson to replace Butte. Yeah, Shelton, and not only that, he's a super kid, obviously in a strong program at Catholic, state champs, and all that. Very, very quiet. I love the way he goes about his business. Troy Davis. need a tight end, quarterback, center, and a running back. Look, if Logan Diggs wants to come, if he decides in June he wants to come, I think you take him. But I think LSU can go without another running back. Let's see what spring looks like. Maybe I'll think differently. But I agree with tight end, quarterback, and center. And the quarterback spot is another one. I've thought all along that LSU would need another quarterback. But you wait to do that after spring football. Let's see how it plays out with Nussmeier and Miles, and then how Walker comes along. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up tonight. Thanks for coming into the show tonight. Go to TigerBait, subscribe. Sanji is going to be back with me next week. Be on the lookout. I've been playing tag with Kendall Rogers. I want to have him for an interview on TigerBait before the weekend. Hopefully, I will get him tomorrow. And so we've got all that and more. Brian Lazar's post-game wrap-up is on TigerBait for tonight's basketball game. So go to TigerBait, subscribe, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks, you guys. Good night.